everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Pina and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute little cat beanie, and it's really sweet. I mean, you've got a pom-pom on the top and you've got two little holes just for the ears to go in there for the cat's ears. You've got a little turning up bit here that gives it that beanie effect, and then you've got this little drawstring. It's really cute. So this little drawstring pulls the, there you go, pulls it wider and then it closes it a bit tighter. And that's really cute because with a bow, normally it's really difficult, isn't it, to actually put a bow underneath a cat's neck. But with this, you've got this kind of expandable kind of pulley thing, which then you can tighten it just simply like that, and you can loosen it just simply like that. It's really cute. And for this beanie hat, I'm going to show you what you need to make this. Now, to start with, you need this yarn. I've used this particular yarn. You can use any yarn you like. I mean, it's any yarn you like, which is a sort of, can be a double knit yarn or a lightweight worsted yarn. I use a 3.5mm hook for this. If you can see, I've got 3.5mm hook. And this particular yarn, I haven't got a label for this yarn, but it's a cake. And I'm not sure because I was given this as a gift and the label's not there anymore, and I've had it for a while. Now this cake of yarn, it's got lovely different colours. Can you see? It's got variegated colours. It's pink, blue and so on, different shades of blue and pink. And it's really good to work with as well. And it's just perfect for a beanie hat for a cat. So that's what I'm going to use today, but you can use any particular yarn you want. This is a lightweight yarn, worsted lightweight, or you can use a DK, it doesn't matter. Just use a 3.5mm hook. Now, the pom-pom as well, I'm going to show you how to make the pom-pom. I've also got a video how to make perfect pom-poms, so I'll put that in the description box. For this, you'll also need a Pom-Pom Maker. Or you can do your pom-poms any way you normally do, but if you don't know how to do a pom-pom, I'd suggest you get one of these. This is a Clover Pom-Pom Maker and it's really good. It's pretty easy to do. You just pull out the flaps, you wind it on, close them, and then just cut round. But I'll show you how to do that. So you'll need a Pom-Pom Maker. You've got your hook, 3.5mm, and you'll need a little needle to sew in your ends at the end, and a pair of pretty sharp scissors because you're going to trim the pom-pom with these scissors as well. So pretty sharp pair of scissors. So that's what you're going to need for your project. Now, for this hat, let's get started. And we're going to start with a magic ring. That's the starting of this hat. So let's get started. So just put that aside. So for a magic ring, grab your yarn. And we're going to do this. We're going to put our two fingers like this, and we're going to wrap the yarn round like this and then cross over like this. So you've got a crisscross. And then you take your hook and underneath pull the yarn through like so. Okay, now we're just going to let go gently and just hold on to the big loop, and you've got the small loop on your hook like this. Now from here, we're going to chain 2. So 1, 2. That's your starting double crochet. So from here, we're going to do 14, including this chain 2, 14 double crochets into the magic ring. So that's number 1, and we're going to do another 13. So yarn over, put your hook into the ring, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over, put your hook into the ring, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over into the ring, pull through 2, pull through 2. I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit so it's easy to work into. And then into the ring again, pull through 2, pull through 2 again. Okay, so go ahead and do 14 all together into the magic ring, and then I'll meet you back when you've done that. Okay, now that you've done 14, including the chain 2, into the magic ring, we're going to pull this end, tail end, and we're going to slip stitch now into the top of the very first double crochet, not the chain 2, the very first double crochet. So we're going to slip stitch into that like so. There we go. From here we're going to chain 2, so 1, 2, and into the same space where you just done the slip stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets into each stitch around, and at the end of it you're going to have 28 stitches. So yarn over and into this very first space just there, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Ignore this chain 2 for now. So yarn over and into the same space you do 1 double crochet, and yarn over and do a second one into the same space. Okay, now again, next stitch, yarn over and hook in and do 2 more double crochets into that next stitch. Yarn over, next stitch, do 2 double crochets into the next stitch. That's 1 and 2. So what we're doing basically is going all the way around, just 2 in each and every stitch. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So go ahead now and work 2 in each and every stitch until you come to the very end, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so we've come to the end of this round, and because we need 28 stitches, we've got 2 more to go into this stitch, and then I'll show you what to do in the next stitch. So yarn over and I'm going to do my last 2 in the same stitch. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Now where we started with the chain 2, that's now going to become 2 double crochets in one stitch. So that plus another double crochet into the same space where the chain 2 is coming out of, we're doing another double crochet. So that goes together with that one. So then all together you've got all double crochets in each and every stitch. So I'm going to join up with a slip stitch on the top of the very first double crochet. That's a slip stitch. So you've got your two rounds of double crochet. Now for the next round we're going to start with a chain 2. So 1, 2. Okay, and into that same space we're going to do 1 double crochet. Okay, we're going to ignore this chain 2 for now again. So we're going to do 1 double crochet. Okay, and the next one we're going to do 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So it's 1 and 2. Okay, so you've got, ignoring the chain 2 for now because we don't want that included at the moment. So 1, 2, and in the next stitch 1 double crochet, and in the next stitch 2 in the same stitch, 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and into the next stitch 1 double crochet, into the next one 2 double crochets into that same stitch. So you need to do the same pattern throughout, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, then 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Okay, so keep going towards that pattern until you get to the other end, doing the 1, 2, 1, 2 repeat, and then I'll meet you before you finish the last stitch. Okay, so we've come to the end of this third round, And what we're going to do, we've got our last stitch here, and you should end up with a single double crochet, sorry, just one double crochet into the last stitch. So yarn over, and I'm going to put my hook into that last stitch and do a single on its own double crochet. Okay, now we should have 42 stitches at the end. Now the last stitch is going to go with this chain 2, which makes a 2 double crochets in a stitch. So yarn over, and into that same space the chain 2 is coming out of, you just do another double crochet. There we go. So then you've got, I'll take my hook out, you can see. Okay, so then you've got 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on. And at the end you've got 2, 1, and then the 2. The chain 2 and the double crochet make 2 in one stitch. So it all works out really well. So altogether 42 double crochets around this round. And for the next round, what we're going to do, we're going to slip stitch in the top of the very first double crochet, just there. Just going to slip stitch. Okay, so, and then you chain 2, 1, 2 to start with. Now what we're going to do for this next 3 rounds, we're going to do double crochet all the way, just 1 double crochet in each and every stitch all the way round. Chain 2 at the start of each row. So to start with, we've done our chain 2 for this round, and we need 3 rows of the same. So I'm going to do the first row, so and then you go ahead and do the next 2 after that. So yarn over into this space you've just slip stitch into. You're going to put your hook and you're going to do a double crochet. It's your first double crochet. Yarn over into the next one, double crochet. Pretty straightforward this round. All you do is a double crochet in each and every stitch. So yarn over and keep going until you get to the other end. There we go, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and as you can see, the variegated colour is now changing. Got all these different colours coming through. It's quite pretty. So there we go. Keep going all the way around until you've completed this row. And there's some pink coming through, as you can see. It's starting to curve now, and that's normal. That's what you want. You want it to curve up. I'm just going to whiz by quickly. There we go. Right, well, that's looking really pretty now. You can see all the colours. Sometimes you don't know what colours are you going to, like this is slightly different shades coming through, and this one's slightly different. So it's nice to see a mix of colours in the hat, in the beanie hat. Right, so we've come to the end now. just in the final 2 stitches, and there we go. So that's the final 2 stitches I've just done. Okay, so it's curving up nicely, and we're just going to do that so we can curve it this way. Now put my hook back in. We're going to slip stitch now into the top of the very first double crochet. So in every round out of these 3 rounds, you're going to definitely slip stitch into the top of the double crochet. So I'm going to put my hook in and slip stitch. If I take my hook out, there you go. So it makes it nice and neat. Can't see the join. So that's what you do for the next 3 rounds. So this round plus 2 more rounds, 3 rounds of the same, you need double crochets. Go ahead and do the next 3 rounds, or the 2 rounds, depends where you are, but in total 3 rounds. Okay, and then when you've done, I'll meet you at the other end. Okay, so I've come to the round, the last round of my 3 rounds of double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3. The last 3 rounds were double crochet, just in every stitch, and it's given it a nice curved shape now, as you can see. So you've got that top bit of the hat. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put a hook back in. I'm just going to finish off now by doing a slip stitch into this very first double crochet. So let's do a little slip stitch in there. There you go. Now for this bit, we're going to chain 2 again, chain up 2. I forgot to mention, you should have 42 stitches all the way around at the end of this last round. So now we're starting off with the chain 2. What we're going to do now, we're going to double crochet 10 stitches, so including that one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 double crochets. Okay, just going to check that is 10. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, that's 10. So once you've done that, you want to chain 7. So you're going to just chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now once you've done the 7 chains, you're going to skip 5 stitches. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th stitch, do your very first double crochet into the 6th stitch, just there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just there, 6. So you just do a double crochet into that stitch. Now that's the first of the 12 double crochets you're going to do next. So that's number 1. So here we go. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you've done 12 double crochets in the center bit there. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so now you're going to do a chain of 7 again for the other ear, because we're doing the ear holes here. So chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now skip 5 again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 6th stitch, double crochet into the 6th stitch, and that's your first one there. Okay, so now we're going to count 10 across here now, including that one. That's included in the 10. So that's number 1. So 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's your last one. So there you go. So that's, you've made your ear holes there, as you can see. Got your 2 ear holes, the back. So you've got 10 double crochets on either side. You've got your chain of 7 on either side, and in between you should have 12 double crochets in the middle. Okay, so the next row we're going to do this. We're going to now slip stitch into the top of the very first double crochet of the beginning of the round, and we're just going to slip stitch there. There we go. So it looks really quite neat, doesn't it? So now what we're going to do, we're going to chain up 2 again, 1, 2. Now we need to do this bit of the hat now. I'll show you. So if I grab the hat, if I pull down this bit here, you'll see we need to work round the chains. So we need to do double crochets round the chain 7 that we've made, and then all across for that round. So that's the bit we're doing right now. So just going to get my hook, and we've chained 2, and we're just going to do a double crochet into that same chain space there. That's a double crochet, yarn over and do a double crochet up until you get to the chain, and I'll show you what to do. So double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and double crochet all the way. Now just last stitch here, just there. Now excuse me, now you've come to your chain of 7. We're going to work 7 double crochets around the chain 7. So yarn over and do your 7 double crochets into that 7 chain space. So I've done 4, 5, 6, 7. Just double check we have 7. Yep, that's 7. So now once you've done that, into your next double crochet, which is on this side, we're going to do our first stitch. So we're going to go into that very first double crochet there, just there, with my hook in, and do a double crochet on top of that one. So now you've made the bridge, you've joined it over. So yarn over and go ahead and do double crochets all the way around until you get to the next chain of 7. Just keep going. Right. Right, here we go. So that's your last one there, and okay, so now into that space again, same as before, you need 7 double crochets. So yarn over, put your hook in, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Double check we've got 7, just like the other side. 2, 4, 6, yes, 7. So now back to this side again. We need to go into that very first, don't forget that very first double crochet there. So we need to go on top of that. So yarn over and put your hook right into that. And then you need to go all the way, double crochet, all the way till you've finished this round. Okay, so that was your last one. Now at this stage we're going to slip stitch now into the top again, top of the very first double crochet like before. So just get your hook and slip stitch into that, and there you go. So this is what this looks like at the moment. Looks a bit odd at the moment. And then we're going to do this bit next, the flappy bit. So we've done that last round of the ear pieces, the ear bits. Now we're going to do another 3 rounds, 1, 2, 3 of the flap, so that we can fold it upwards. Okay, so for that we're going to start with the chain 2 again. So chain 1, 2 to start with. Yarn over and put your hook in to the very first stitch, just there. Yarn over into the next one, and so on. So we're going to make the very first row of double crochets for the flap. So this is quite straightforward now. You probably don't need me to show you again this bit. So it's very straightforward. All you do is double crochet at the very end, slip stitch in the top of the first double crochet, and that's your first row. So go ahead and do a double crochet all the way round, and that will be your first one. And then you need to do another 2. So in total 3 rows of double crochet we need to do. Okay, and I'll meet you right back when you've done that. Okay, now that you've done your last round, you should have 11 rows altogether, starting from the top to the bottom. You should have 11 rows, including this bit here. So once you've done that, we're going to slip stitch on my last round here. So I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of my first double crochet. There we go. So just slip stitch. Right, so now you can just chain 1 and then tie off, or snip off I should say. Okay, so that's your back and your front. Now that's to be turned up just like that, and your cat's ears will be poking out there. So that's exactly like this one. Now I'm going to show you how to do the tie and the pom-pom. So there you go, that's how it looks. Go ahead and tie your ends in as well. You can tie them in now, or you can tie them in later on, it's up to you. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make my pom-pom for the top of my hat. So put that aside and get your Pom-Pom Maker, or anything that you normally use to make a pom-pom. So I'm going to just open the flaps of this. I have got a video which you can see, and I'll put the link down below, of how to make a perfect pom-pom. But I'm going to just do a quick pom-pom now. Now this is the smallest size I've got. I've got various sizes, but this is the very, very smallest one, and they come about that big. So, and I'm going to be trimming it as well. So let's just start by wrapping the yarn around my Pom-Pom Maker. So I'm going to grab that, I'm going to hold that like that, pin that down with my thumb, and then just keep wrapping over like this, backwards and forth like this. That looks like it's going to be a pink pom-pom mostly. So there's a bit of blue in there, but it's coming up. So keep going. It could be a striped one, actually. So just going to keep going until you fill this pom-pom up. And I do fill my pom-poms up really full. I just really make them full because I like the pom-poms to be full. So I'm just going to go around it a few more times like this. There we go. Well, there's a lot of pink coming through, as you can see. Right, so that's that side. That's enough. Oops, there's a bit of fluff on that one. It's okay, that will be cut out. Right, so here we go. So it's just, as you can see, it's really full up. Okay, but don't worry. Now I'm just going to go over to the other side and wrap the yarn around the other side as well. Till that's really full up as well. Oops. Right, nearly there. Okay, so that's full enough. I'm just going to snip off my yarn, close my Pom-Pom Maker, and I'm just going to cut through it like this. Cut through the yarn. Oops. You need a sharp pair of scissors for this. Oh, it is a nice colour pom-pom. It's a multicoloured one, as you can see. So let's do the other side. There you go. Mind your fingers. Okay, I'm going to get a bit of yarn now. About that much should do. And I'm going to put the yarn through the Pom-Pom Maker, and I'm going to tighten that up. And I'm going to put it the other way as well to make it more secure. So tighten that. And now the other side again, so it's more secure. Okay. One more knot. That's it. So now that you've done that, let's take that strand off. I'm going to open my Pom-Pom Maker like so, and there we go. Now, that's an odd shaped pom-pom, so I'm going to go ahead and trim my pom-pom now and make it as round as I can. And in this video that I've done on pom-pom making, it shows you how to really get these pom-poms nice and full and round and perfectly shaped, so they look nice and plump, just like that one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this pom-pom nicely, and go ahead and trim yours, and when you're finished trimming your pom-pom, I'll show you how to attach the pom-pom to the hat. Okay, so the art to doing a really neat pom-pom is really getting a sharp pair of scissors and trimming it over. You know, keep trimming it over until you get all the stragglies off, and that's a perfect pom-pom. It looks really plump and full and round. And yeah, so once you've done your pom-pom, you are going to attach it now with the loose ends that we've got here. So grab your beanie and grab a needle and thread your yarn in. You can thread your yarn in separately or together. It's entirely up to you. So I like to put it in together if I can. So I'm going to just put my yarn into my eyelet. If your eyelet's big enough and you can put two strands in, that's fine. If not, do it once. So I'm going to grab my needle and I'm going to go into the top of my beanie just like that, pull through the yarn just like that. Okay, so your beanie's in there. I'm just going to make sure my yarn is pulled all the way through. Yes, it is. Okay, so beanie's on now, but we've got to attach it now firmly to the beanie hat. So I'm going to get my yarn, I'm going to sew my ends in at the back here. So I'm just going to put my yarn wherever I see a bit of space and just sew it in like that. There you go. Right, and what I like to do once I've done that, I like to go through with my yarn again, and I'd like to go through the pom-pom again. So I'm going to stick my hook in like that onto the other side, and I'm going to grab my pom-pom with the needle and just put my needle all the way through the pom-pom. There you go. It will be handy if you had a longer bit of strand, but I've only got a shorter strand. But anyway, keep going backwards and forwards into your pom-pom and sort of into your hat. There you go. And then into your pom-pom again. I'm going to go back into my pom-pom from here, grabbing a bit of the hat with you, the beanie with your yarn, into my pom-pom again. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim that bit off and see how secure it is. If you feel it's secure enough, that looks pretty okay. But I've got another bit of yarn in here which I can use still from the very first row that we did. So the tail end. So I'm going to thread my needle with this tail end, and then once you've done that, again you can go in again to your pom-pom and stick your needle in like so. Okay, so the more you go in and out, the better it is. You grab more. There we go. So now I'm going to go back this way and I'm going to thread my yarn into the yarn underneath, inside the beanie. Just thread it through a few times, secure it. Like so. Right. I think that should be okay. One more time this way. And there we go. That should be fine. So I'm just going to trim off that tail end. There you go. Just trim that off. And turn it the other way around just to see what it looks like. And there you go. That's what it looks like. That's the back. That's the front. That's the bit that folds over. Okay. And there's your ear holes. Now, the next bit, we're going to just sew in your tail end here as well. I'm going to sew that in too while I'm here. Okay. So again, from the inside, not on the outside. You don't want it to show. So because this is going to go that way, it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, as long as you do it neatly. So I'm just going to thread that in anywhere I find a space. Okay. Right, so just thread your yarn in wherever you find a space and secure it as much as you can. I'm just going to trim that off now. Right, perfect. So now that that's all done, you're going to do, the last thing we're going to do is the drawstring. Okay, so for this we're going to grab some more yarn and we're going to double it up. So about, depends how long you want it, about a meter, something like that, maybe 2 meters. So I'm going to get some yarn and chop some yarn up. I'll double some yarn up here, as you can see, and chop it up. So I've got about a meter here, I think. I'll show you how much. This is a bit extra than what I really need, but you know, just to be on the safe side. So I've got quite a bit there and I've doubled it up. Now what we're going to do is this. We're going to do this. We're going to figure out where opposite ends are of the hat. So like this one here, we've got near the ear hole and near the ear hole. So you can either work it out or work out how many stitches in between. It's up to you, but I just kind of like worked it out. So you just got to put make sure you fold it first like this. So you need to fold that, so that's folded like this. Now I'm going to put some stitch markers where I want to put my my ties. So I'm going to put my stitch marker round about here, and you need to grab the yarn. There you go. You see what I mean? You've got to grab a bit of the yarn from this round, and then I'm going to go to the other side and make sure it's level when you do that. So I'm going to go over to this side, and I think my ears, as they're over here, yes, I need to put another stitch marker just over there. So I'm just going to grab my stitch marker and oops, put one in there as well. Just there, grab some yarn. Right, so if I show you what it looks like from this end. So I've got my stitch markers on either side. And of course the fold is there. Make sure you've got the fold in the right position. So that's in the right position, the fold. And then what you do is make sure that's there. That's on the opposite side. Yeah, I think that's about right. And that's about right as well. So there you go. So now I'm going to start attaching my, now that they're on the right ends, either end, I'm going to attach my my ties. So going into this one here first, we're going to grab our double-sided yarn. I've made it a little bit extra long, but you don't have to make it this long. And I'm going to, with my hook, I'm going to put my hook into the inside of the hat or the beanie, like so. And take my stitch marker out now. Now draw up the double loop like this, pull it through like so. Now we're going to do a chain. Now you can make it as long as you want, and I'm just going to go along to see how long I want it. Just keep chaining from there like so. You can have it as long as you want, really. Don't want it too long, so I'm just going to keep going until I've got it the length. It's going to keep going until I've got it the length that I want it to be. So as all right, I think that might be it. Let's have a look. So it's going to be about, measure it against my other one, just a little bit more, just a tiny bit more. Put a hook in. That should be all right. Okay, I'm going to do the other side as well. So I'm going to grab some more yarn, double it again. Got some more yarn, doubled it up. And on the other side, from the inside again, we're going to stick our hook into there, take our stitch marker off, and we're going to grab our yarn, double-sided yarn again, and put that on your hook and just slip it through the hat and then start chaining from there. So chain to the same length as the other one on the other side. Until it's the same length exactly. You can count as many, you can count the chains that you want on either side, but I haven't counted, I've just gone along with it. So I'm just going to check and see if that is okay. So let's make sure they're the same length. Yep, they're the same length. So now what I can do is trim it off. So now that they're the same length, what you're going to do is you're going to just take out the strands, pull them out so they're secure now. I'm going to take that one as well, and they're secure now. So now with this, we're going to just pull it so it's tight, and I'm going to chop that off so that we've got leave a little bit of a tail end. There you go. So I've chopped that off, as you can see. Okay, so now what we're going to do, because we need to get the pulley, a little pulley, I call it a pulley, but I don't know what you call it. It's this thing here. We're going to make one of those now. Okay, so let's grab some more yarn. So for this, I'm going to grab another double-sided yarn, just about that much. You don't need much because it's only small. So for this, you're just going to chain, you can chain as many as you want really, not too many. So I'm going to chain about 5 and see where we go from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's have a look now. What you do is you measure up your see if it has to be pretty tight, not too loose. So that's about right. Yeah, that should be about right. So I've just chained 5 there. 4 or 5 chains would be fine to attach this. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just going to pull out my thread now, my yarn, like so. Okay, so I've made that now. So I'm just going to trim off the ends because they're a little bit long, just a tiny bit shorter. There you go. Now what we're going to do is, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this around our pulley, or our, what do you call, I don't know what you want to call these, to be honest, but we're going to put that round like so. Okay, and we're just going to tie it like so. I'll show you. Oops, start again, because we need to get it in the middle. That's right. That's it. There we go. So we're going to tighten it up as tight as you can. There we go. I'm going to do another little knot in there, so it's nice and tight. Let's just check it's okay. So when you do your little thing up, then it will just slide up and down with ease. It should do, and not be too loose. There you go. So that will slide up and down. Okay, now we're going to because we've got these loose ends here, you can do 2 things. You can either do another knot and chop it off like so, or you can then sew it into the rest of the chains. You can sew off the ends, but I'm just going to tie it off here. I'm just going to chop it off because it's pretty secure. And once you've done that a couple of times, it should be okay. There we go. So I'm going to get my scissors and just trim that off like so. By all means, if you want to secure it any better than that, you can sew your ends in. But what you do is when you sew your ends in, you sew through right the way through the plait or the chains that you've made. You want to sew in and out, weave it in and out until it's completely, well, I've just tied it off and it seems to be okay. But you can sew it in if you want to, if you want to make it extra secure. So that's the pulley. I call it a pulley because you're pulling it up and down. And basically it helps, you know, lock the hat into place onto the cat, and then you can just easily just get it down. It saves doing the bows, all these little bows that you do, and all the fiddly things that you know, the bows that you do is very fiddly on a cat. So this is really quick and easy. You can just literally just put it down and up, tighten it, loosen it, whichever way you want. Cat's ears go in there, and there you go. That is your cat beanie. Your really cute little cat beanie. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you've made one of these. And if you have, please put a comment down below. Let me know how it turned out. And thanks for watching. And please, if you like this video, just like it, subscribe to it, and hit on the notification bell for some more of my crochet videos. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye.